Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Talia. Welcome to the BS Level Biology program with course code 4401. Students, I hope this series is broadening your vision and giving you new concepts to ponder upon. I'm sure by now you are ready for today's lecture. So now let's welcome our expert, Dr. Muhammad Azad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam.
So what's the topic for today's discussion?
Talia, today we are going to continue our previous topic, a very important aspect of our previous topic, that is the control of gene expression. Students, in our last lecture we have gone with how the proteins are being synthesized, and today we are going to look at its control mechanism. So what is the control mechanism? All of you already know that there are trillions of cells are there in your bodies. All of these cells, they are different in structure and they are performing different function. We discussed this idea before also, that how they are different. All of these, they are going to originate from a single cell, that is the zygote. By the process of mitosis, and the beauty of mitosis that they are going to produce identical daughter cells. Then all our body cell must be identical. But a cell of our muscle is different than a cell of RBC. RBC is different from a cell in our eyes, that is rods and cones of retina of eye, and that is different from a cell lining our intestine or lining the stomach or the beta cell in the islets of Langerhans pancreas. All of these cells, they are different in their structure and they are performing different functions. How it is possible? All of these are having exactly the same number of genes, same number of chromosomes, everything is same. Then how can they be different? God has given the mechanism of switching on of the certain gene and switching off the certain gene. Let's say in case of beta cell of islets of Langerhans of pancreas, the genes for synthesis of insulin is switched on, and that is signed a function of synthesis of insulin. So that start producing insulin. The gene for pepsin is also present in that cell, but that is switched off. While in case of a cell lining the gastric mucosa, so there is a gene that is concerned with the synthesis of pepsin is switched on. Insulin gene is also present in the stomach, but here it is switched off. So today we are going to look in details how the genes are switched on and off to have a specific action at a specific moment. So going with our slideshow, this is the continuity of our previous programs, that is genetics, linkage and crossing overs, and today's topic belongs to the molecular genetics, that is the regulation of gene expression. So this is the DNA which is going to store all the information in the form of genes, and then these genes, they are being expressed, switched on to make specific protein, and then these proteins are going to give us a specific trait. Let's say in case of hand, a specific feature of hand that is given by this gene. So the code is there within the cell, and within the cell in the nucleus, and this code is being expressed in the form of genes. So gene expression is going to give this color of eye, the blue color of eye. So traits are controlled by expression of the genes. Each cells in humans contain all the genetic material for the growth and development of a human. Some of these genes will be needed to be expressed all the time. So they are involved in the vital biochemical processes such as respiration, which is occurring all the time, and other genes, they are not expressed all the times. So if they are required, they are switched on, and if they are not required, they are switched off. So they are regulated according to the need of the body. Starting with the processing of gene information in prokaryote versus eukaryotes. So basically gene information is processed differently in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, because the prokaryotes, they are going to lack the nuclear envelope, messenger RNA can associate with ribosome in the cytoplasm as the messenger RNA is being produced. So this is the messenger RNA. At the same time translation is occurring. These are the ribosomes, and these are 70S ribosome in case of prokaryote. 3 polypeptide chain, 1, 2 and 3, they are being produced, and these are produced by the 3 genes. And in case of prokaryote, a group of genes which are going to be expressed at the same time by the same regulator, that is called as operon, and this operon is basically the unit in case of prokaryote. In case of eukaryotes, because the membrane bound nucleus is there, so here first the messenger RNA, the full copy is being produced, and then the processing of messenger RNA is done. The inactive parts, the introns are being cut down, the exons, the active parts, they are being joined together, and then 5' cap and 3' polytail, that poly tail that is given, and then this is going to pass through the nuclear pore outside and associate with the large and small subunit of ribosome, giving us a polypeptide chain. In case of eukaryotic cell, so the process of transcription occur in the nucleus and translation occur outside the nucleus in the cytoplasm. Going with the regulation of protein synthesis and metabolism, genes are regulated to be active only when their products are required. This is very important. So as per requirement, gene expression is there. In prokaryotic cell, this regulation is coordinated by operons, and operons are defined as a set of genes, all of which are regulated as a single unit. Operons, they were discovered by Jacob, Monod and Loff, and they are offered Nobel Prize on the discovery of these operons. And operon is a group of the genes that are transcribed at the same time. They usually control an important biological process. Going with the lac operon or lactose operon, the lac operon consists of 3 genes, each involved in the processing the sugar lactose. One of them is the gene for the enzyme beta galactosidase. This enzyme hydrolyzes lactose into glucose and galactose. E. coli bacteria can use either glucose, which is a monosaccharide, or lactose, which is a disaccharide. However, lactose need to be hydrolyzed and digested first, so the bacterium prefers to use glucose when it can be there available in the environment. So 4 possibilities are there. When glucose is present and lactose is absent, the E. coli does not produce beta galactosidase. When glucose is present and lactose is present, both are present. So E. coli prefer glucose and does not produce beta galactosidase. When glucose is absent and lactose is also absent, so both the products are absent, still there is beta glycosidase is not produced. But when the glucose is absent and only lactose is present, then the E. coli does produce beta galactosidase. Operons are classified into 2 varieties, inducible and repressible. Inducible operon is turned on by the substrate. A catabolic operons, enzyme needed to metabolize the nutrients, are produced when needed. The repressible genes in a series are turned off by the product. Synthesized anabolic operon, enzyme used to synthesize an amino acid, stops being produced when they are not needed. Dear students, so up till now we have gone with the inducible and repressible operons. What these are? Actually, in all the chemical reaction, there are certain substrates which are converted into products with the help of specific enzymes. So some of these operons, they are being regulated by the substrate. If substrate is more, then there is a requirement that the more of this, you can say, the reaction should be carried out. Enhancement of speed should be there. So these substrate induced operon are called as inducible. They are going to increase the rate of reaction. If the product is more than our requirement, so this extra product itself is going to cause switching of this mechanism. So this extra product is going to switch off, or that is going to inhibit the rate of reaction. So these operons, they are called as repressible operons. Going with the details of both of these variety of operons in the form of slides and animations. So in this picture we are going to look at these two operons. One is this lac operon, that is the lactose operons. So once you can say it is there in the active repressive form, is going to block this operator gene. Once the lactose is present, so it is going to make it inactive and it is being expressed. While in case of tryptophan is one of the product. So normally the inactive form of repressor is this molecule. Once the tryptophan is going to bind within this place, it is going to cause the active repressor and this gene is being you can say the repressed. So this is the one of the inducible operon and this is one of the repressible. This is one of the inducible operon and this is one of the repressible operons. So going with the details of lactose operon or the lac operons, that is going to have three segments. The first segment is regulator. What the regulator is? It is the gene that codes for repressor. Then there is a central locus which is composed of promoters and operators, and then there are structural genes which are made up of three genes in this case. One of the gene is beta galactosidase, that is going to hydrolyze lactose. Second, it is the permease which brings lactose across the cell membrane, and the third enzyme, that galactosidase transacetylase. The function of this enzyme, they are uncertain till this moment. So normally the lac operon, that is switched off. In the absence of lactose, the repressor binds with the operator locus and blocks transcription of downstream structural genes. Lactose turns the operon on. Binding of lactose to the repressor protein changes its shape and causes it to fall off the operator. RNA polymerase can bind to the promoter. Structural genes, they are being transcribed. So here let us say this is the situation. This is the regulatory gene that is going to produce this repressor protein, and this repressor protein is going to bind here at the operator to block the path. This RNA polymerase cannot go beyond that, and there is no RNA and there is gene is being switched off. When the lactose is present, lactose combined with this repressor, and this shape, this is being changed. Now this shape is not going to fit here at the operator genes. So once it is not going to fit, it is going to come out, and RNA polymerase is going to transcribe all of these three genes Z, Y and A, and these are going to produce these three enzymes. So this is the animation about the combination of switches in the lac operon. In E. coli bacteria, two regulatory sites are there, the cap binding sites and the operator functional sites, and both of these, they are going to function together to ensure the three proteins required for the growth on the bacteria. If the lactose is present, so these are being produced like that. So this is the cap part, the regulatory protein. This is the region of DNA adjacent to the promoters. If the glucose is absent, then the abundance of cyclic AMP, that is the adenosine monophosphate, is present, and this is one of the catabolic activator repressor protein. It is going to bind at the cap and causing the turning of this messenger RNA. This RNA polymerase which is there, so it is not being activated in case if the glucose present is low state of cyclic AMP. So once the low state of cyclic AMP is there, what is there? So again the polymerase is going to touch here, not going to bind, again inactive, and it is going to go out. So going to another situation in which the glucose is present and lactose is absent, still the repressor is going to bind here at this part at the operator zone, and this RNA polymerase is going to come, and that is being rejected. Going with the situation that the glucose is present and lactose is also present. So again in this situation, because the glucose is being preferred, so again this polymerase is going to be there, and that is going to transcribe in this form because the lactose was present, so this mRNA is being produced. So this is the, you can say, the different modes of transcription. If the lactose is present, so then messenger RNA is allowed to transcribe this genes Z, Y and A to produce the required enzyme to break down the lactose. So whole of this, you can say, all these series, this is called as operon. These are the structural gene operator and these are the regulator genes. So set of these genes which are being activated at the same time. So this is called as lac operon.
So what is the mode of action of these repressible operons?
Yes, this is again a very important phenomena that basically repressible operons are going to function on the basis of the product. If the product is more than needed, then they are going to be activated. So looking into detail of that in the form of our slides. So one of the example of repressible operon, that is the arginine operon. Normally it remains on and will be turned off when nutrient is no longer needed. When excess arginine is present, it binds to the repressor and changes its shapes. Then the repressor binds to the operator and blocks the arginine synthesis. So another repressible operon is the tryptophan operon. The tryptophan operon encodes genes for the biosynthesis of a amino acid tryptophan. The operon is not expressed when the cell contains sufficient amounts of tryptophan. The operon is expressed when the levels of tryptophan they are low. The tryptophan operon is negatively regulated by the tryptophan receptor proteins. So this repressor binds to the operator to block the transcription. Binding of repressor to the operator requires a co-repressor which is tryptophan. Low level of tryptophan prevent the repressor from binding to the operators. So this is the situation. Let's say this is the inactive repressor at the moment, tryptophan repressor. Tryptophan is not sufficient, so this repressor is there in the inactive form, and this is the operator which is going to transcribe all of the genes which are required, A, B, C, D and E. All of these are the enzymes which are being switched on to make the amino acid tryptophan. Once the tryptophan is more than required, so this excess of tryptophan is going to bind here on this repressor. As a result of this binding, so its shape become complementary to bind with the operator. It binds here with the operator and this RNA cannot proceed further. RNA is blocked to transcribe these gene E, D, C, A, B, A. So these genes are not transcribed and then ultimately there is decrease in the level of tryptophan. In Bacterium E. coli, a group of genes that code for enzymes required to synthesize the amino acid tryptophan, all 5 genes are transcribed together, so they are going to make a group called as operons. So these are these genes which are there controlling the synthesis of amino acid tryptophan. This is the area of promoter in which this is the operator, and this is one of the repressive protein which is going to repress or blocks. If the low level of tryptophan is there, then this mRNA is allowed to transcribe all of these 5 genes at the same time, and the tryptophan is being made by using you can say the ribosomes. But if the tryptophan is more than required quantity, excess of tryptophan, it binds with the repressor protein, and once it binds with the repressor protein, so it is going to sit at the operator, and this messenger RNA is going to touch here, and that is not allowed to transcribe. So what is actually happening? This is the repressor protein made up of polypeptide chain having helical forms, and these helical forms they normally cannot bind to this you can say the DNA molecule. But once these excess of the tryptophan is going to combine there, so they are going to combine here, and once now its shape is like that it can just sit here at the promoters. So once it is going to sit at this operator gene or promoter area, now the messenger RNA cannot go beyond that, and there is stopping of the process of synthesis of tryptophan to keep them under a level. So going with the antibiotics that affect the translation and transcriptions, one of the antibiotic used in treating tuberculosis, the rifampicin, binds to the RNA polymerase, Another antibiotic, actinomycin D, binds to the DNA and halts the mRNA chain elongation. Erythromycin interferes with the attachment of mRNA to the ribosome. Chloramphenicol, linomycin and tetramycin binds to the ribosome and block elongation. Streptomycin is going to inhibit peptide initiation and elongation. Controlling gene expression is often that is accomplished by controlling the transcription initiation. So, the regulatory proteins, they are going to bind to the DNA either to block or to stimulate transcription depending upon how they interact with RNA polymerase. So, this is very important that the regulatory proteins must be there in the activated form. Prokaryotic organisms regulate gene expression in response to their environment, while the eukaryotic cell regulate gene expression to maintain homeostasis in the organisms. Dear students, so we have learned a very basic mechanism that our internal environment, around each cell there is a tissue fluid, and the composition of tissue fluid is maintained within a very narrow range. If the amount of glucose is less, so there are certain chemical processes, it is increased. If the amount of glucose in this environment is more, there are certain processes, it is decreased. So, if anything is increased, there are certain processes which are going to decrease it, and if anything is going to decrease, then that element, that compound is increased. This is called as homeostasis, maintenance of constant internal environment, and that is very vital, because all our body functions are regulated by God to have a specific and precise function in our body. So, and this mechanism is called as negative feedback mechanism, because the final effect is always negative to the initial stimulus. If initial stimulus in increase of something, the response is decrease of that, and if the initial stimulus of decrease of something, the response, the final effect is to increase that. So, it is very vital to maintain a constant internal environment. While in case of prokaryotic cell, so these are the environmental factors. If glucose is present, they are going to metabolize the glucose, but if the lactose is there, so they are going to make the certain proteins which are required to use that new product. So, this is a, you can say, the beautiful control mechanism given by the God to regulate our machinery at the cellular levels. Continuing our slideshow, controlling the expression of eukaryotic genes require transcription factors. Journal transcription factors are required for transcription initiation. They are required for proper binding of RNA polymerase to the DNA. Specific transcription factors increases transcription in certain cells or in response to the signals. Looking in this animation, control of gene expression in eukaryotic cell, that is slightly different in prokaryotic cell, because most of the prokaryotes, you can say, they are having both the processes occurring in the cytoplasm. But in case of eukaryotes, so DNA is there in the nucleus, and there are activator proteins which are going to make the copy of DNA, and this is the enhancement of this process. mRNA is going to come making the multiple copy of this transcript of RNA, and then this RNA is given the 3' and 5' end. So, post translational modification is there, there is cutting of the intron and exons, and then you can say all of these activated. This is the mature RNA for calcitonin, and this is the mature RNA for calcitonin related proteins. And again, you can say once whole of this process is going to be there, the mature RNA is going to pass through this pore. This is the nuclear pores which are present in the nuclear membrane. So, this is going to cross through, that is going to come here in the cytoplasm. So, in the cytoplasm, again, this is one of the, you can say, the activated proteins that is going to come, and sometime many enzymes degrade mRNA also. For example, specific, you can say, ribonucleases, they are going to break down this RNA. Gene expression can be regulated by modulating the degree of this degradation of proteins, and after that, so this is the process of translation. This is the, you can say, the ribosomes, and these are the transfer RNA bringing specific amino acid. All of these amino acid, they are linked together. This is the A site, entry acceptance site, this is the peptidyl site, P site, and last was the exit site. And then post translational modification of the protein is also being done by addition of, you can say, the certain groups depending upon the requirement of the protein. In the post-translational regulation, control of gene expression usually involves the control of transcription initiation, but gene expression can be controlled after transcription with the mechanism such as RNA interference, alternative splicing, RNA editing, mRNA degradation. So these are the processes which are regulated by the different enzyme, like diacer is one of the enzyme. Then these are the microRNAs bind to the complementary RNA to prevent translation. Small interfering RNA degrades particular mRNAs before the translations. Introns are spliced out of that, and then alternative splicing recognize the different splice site in different tissues. The mature mRNA in each tissue possesses different exons, resulting in different polypeptide products from the same genes. So here this is the post-translational modification. So this was the mRNA which was made. Introns, they are spliced, and only, so these introns, they are the inactive sites. The active sites which were there, these are the exons. So these exons, so this is the mature RNA for calcitonin, and this is the mature RNA for calcitonin related proteins, both of which are required by the living organisms. Dear students, so today we have discussed about a very important functional aspect of molecular biology, and that is expression of gene. How the genes, they are being switched on if a product is required, how the genes are being switched off if the product is not required, and that is going to give us differentiation. So in the start, I started with the opening comments that all our cells are different in their structure and function. Why they are different? Due to switching on and off of the different genes. So that's all for today.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for today's informative and enticing lecture.
Welcome.
So students, I hope that today's lecture has opened up new dimensions of knowledge for you. Now I would like to summarize today's lecture for you. In today's lecture, we discussed about different variety of genes. Then we discussed about set of genes which are controlling a specific trait in prokaryotic cells known as operons. And finally, we discussed about inducible and repressible operons. Students, that was all from today's lecture. Inshallah, see you in the next program with more dose of knowledge. Till that time, take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.